Guys, I'm down at a very drizzly Woburn golf club. This place is exceptional. I've never actually been here before, and I'm only here to test one thing, and that is the 0211 cast irons from PXG. You might have seen this video. The irony, PXG affordable irons. I've been in the fitting process. Matt, who's one of the fitters here in the UK, knows a lot of his stuff, knows a lot of things, and what they can do in the fitting process is second to none ever. That literally took the biscuit. I couldn't believe that is something that they put in the title. So obviously I gave it a bit of a brutal honest opinion, and even though I got very mixed comments on that video, people agreeing with me, people not agreeing with me, there's one thing that I didn't do, and that's actually hit the iron itself. Now I'm under good authority that Bob Parsons himself saw that video, and fair play to the man, because he's now organised for me to be down here at Woburn with Matthew to try just that iron. So we're going to hit it. Still going to give you my honest opinion of the cast iron head from PXG, whether it's worth getting fitted for it, getting fitted for the forged, not getting fitted for it at all. Guys, if you like this video, leave it a like. As always, please subscribe. Let's get straight into it. It's here. The 0211, I'm here with Matthew. Now obviously I've done a video talking about this iron, and to be fair to PXG, I haven't hit the iron. So this is today's testing. Matthew, very busy man. This guy is flat off his feet, and he's gonna basically put me into 0211 and get my honest thoughts compared to obviously what I'm hitting at the moment, and then hitting this iron head.
Let's do it.
Initially, guys, I was going to commentate over the whole club fit, but actually Matt was really helpful, answered a ton of questions, and I feel like it's actually better you listen from him rather than just me talking over it. So what I'm going to do is a conclusion at the very end of this video. So if you want to hear my thoughts on everything PXG, then obviously wait to the end. Otherwise, enjoy the video. Let's do it.
So talk to me, 0211.
0211.
Give me the spill on it, the lowdown.
So basically 0211 is, like you said, it's more of a price conscious product from PXG. Yeah. However, if you look at it compared to other price points, don't forget it's still premium. Yeah. I think that's a key point. It doesn't make PXG a budget brand. But as soon as you've got a club now that is cast, which is less time consuming, of course, all of a sudden you save a lot going back to the customer because it's taking far less time to produce. However, from a performance standpoint, it is exactly like identical face as Gen 2, which is 400 quid a stick, and the actual core inside, identical. So, feel and feedback, I mean, the guy I had in before yourself just came for Gen 2 irons, walked away with 0211.
And obviously, I mean, the one thing that obviously last time that I talked about was obviously the swing weight, like the heads and everything else. So obviously you don't have that option now. Correct.
So that's what saves substantial amount, because to actually create that porting and to mill those ports out, and even just to produce the weights, is timely, it's costly. That cost then comes back into the product. So all of a sudden you've got this. Yes, you can swing weight it from a different method, basically just a normal method that you would normally use is through a port, but not as fine-tuned as, basically you've got to see Gen 2 and Gen 2 and 0311 is still your all singing, all dancing.
Well, yeah, I mean that's at the end of the day,
very, very fine-tuned.
And I'll show the guys footage. I mean, you've got a ton of heads and you've got so much more range, I would say, at any other fitting day that I've seen, and obviously I fit for clubs myself. Matthew, quickly talk to me what I've got in my hands. So this is a starting point. I've hit a few good ones and bad ones, and what have I got in my hands?
So 0211 7 iron. Yeah. I have just put you in the same weight shaft as you're currently using, just a slightly higher balance point. Currently use a C taper 130. I've just gone S taper 130. As you know, with your long drive stuff, your dynamic lofts up there, you can spin the ball no end. There's loads of club head speed. So as a starting point, I've gone ½ inch over as you play with yours, but I've just gone completely standard lie. Let's check ball speed, let's check interaction when you're striking it, let's check spin numbers and go from there.
Cool, let's give it a hit, see what it does. That's interesting, because normally my opinion would be that most people that come to the PXG are ones that have got endless amount of money, but that's not always the case then.
Not at all. The last guy I just had has just been made redundant.
Got
His
you.
wife's on maternity.
And this is the answer.
His wife's on maternity leave,
Right.
but he loves golf. It's his escape.
Which I can understand at
If
the end
you
of the
asked
day.
me 2 years
I
ago,
can understand that.
I was working with guys who flew in on helicopters for their fits and stuff.
Yeah.
PXG was that kind of brand. It was
Yeah.
like that's what you go to. Now that isn't the case. It is. I get a broad spectrum.
Okay, guys, we're in. We've got the numbers. Talk to me.
So what we're looking at in pink that's flashing at the moment is
Yeah.
your own fitted product that you currently gain.
Yeah.
As you can see, just like monstrous club head speed, which is awesome. So your club head speed is generating 132.8 mile an hour ball speed, but it's spinning a hell of a lot. So it's spinning at 8,600, which is
high.
Yeah, so all of a sudden your peak height is really high because it spins up to peak height, 143 feet. As well, you're going to hit it high because your dynamic loft is always quite high.
Yeah.
You force it up into the air. So carry there, 173.6 in today's conditions. Currently what we're sitting at now, which is just the first starting point with our 0-11.
Yeah.
Ball speed has now jumped up to 135 mile an hour. Spin rate is now down at 7.7.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden there, your peak height is less because it's flying flatter, more ball speed, carry goes up to 183. And as well, it's not like we've widened dispersion. If anything, we've moved it a little bit more central.
And what is the loft of your 0-11 irons at the moment?
31.
Okay. Which is going to be similar. I'm
To
not too
your
sure.
TaylorMade.
I think that TaylorMade is going to be similar loft as well.
Put it up in the corner.
I'll find out, guys.
in
I'm
the
not
corner now.
mind you. I probably need to get that
loft and
that loft and light because that's probably moved quite a few over the years anyway.
Looking online, 34 degrees loft is what it would have come as standard. Now, if that's come out the manufacturer as 34 or over years of me obviously hitting balls, that's going to move. So I don't know the true loft of that club. However, I think it's definitely going to be more lofted than the 0-11 iron. So that's potentially a reason why obviously we're now seeing that reduction in spin and also the distance as well. Let's get back into it.
Okay. New option. Matt made a very good point. These PXG heads actually got the black, which is kind of the prototype, so I'll actually get some images of the chrome one as well. But we've got a Project 6.5. I am no stranger to this shaft. It's probably the shaft that's probably been out there for a long time, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So let's see what kind of numbers, see how far I hit this bad boy. Okay, 6.5. Feeling heavy. Feeling very heavy. But for a man of my caliber,
Brute strength.
Feels like a rod. I haven't hit a 6.5 in ages.
Then he flushes one.
That was good. That was good. And going back to your point, you're right. I probably couldn't tell if this is the difference between a cast or a forged head, to be perfectly honest. I mean, exactly the same if you put a blind Pro V1 and a TP5 down. Again, I don't think I'm a good enough player realistically. And seeing as this is supposed to be my job, what is the chances the majority of the public even know either?
I do reckon if I told you that would forge, you'd
Yeah.
say it's a good forge iron.
Yeah, you're
I
probably
would.
right. You're probably right. So if someone was coming from raw distance, what head are you putting them into?
Depending, I mean, really depending on their delivery, but your kind of first go-to would probably be like XF.
Yeah.
I've got SGI, which means I could shift it out there, but for playable raw distance, I'd probably be looking at like Gen 2 XF.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically though, I could probably do very similar things with 0-11 as well,
Yeah.
with it being a progressive set. Flight's still nice and flat.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
If I can take that, I'll take that on the golf course.
That's data needed. To 186.
Okay guys, so there we have, there's the 6.5, the yellow one. It felt a lot heavy. I mean, to be perfectly honest, that's my preference. Having a heavy shaft and a heavy feeling just slows my tempo down. But, as Matthew was saying, club speed's relatively similar. Ball speed
Has gone from 132.8
yeah.
to 139.4. So basically, way more efficient. Smash factor, which you really struggle with on your irons.
Yeah, because I'm in up on them a lot.
Yeah, exactly that. Smash factor 1.33, not really that efficient for your club head speed, so you put a lot of effort in, don't get much back. It's far better now at 1.38. You're actually generating some ball speed. And as well, peak height's similar, but your spin rate's just down a fraction, so really, really good now.
Okay, quickly, just so you guys can see that I can actually hit somewhat of a straight ball flight. This was my first iron, Matthew.
That's your own iron.
Yeah.
Then following to KBS, it's very similar in terms of left to right dispersion, but what it does move, it moves it a little bit more central.
Yeah.
When we actually get the correct fit going, but also highlighting kind of forgiveness of the head on slightly off centre hits, everything is much more down the line, which means you're going to start hitting greens again.
Well, let's not go that far. Numbers speak for themselves. Matthew knows his stuff. However, what I want to know now is the 0211 head, and now I'm going to hit the P. Is this right?
Correct.
The P in exactly the same setup, so the same shaft and everything else. I'm going to hit that, and I'm going to see if basically I can feel anything different. And the interesting point Matt had made is you do get this custom fitting options, where potentially obviously the P is £400 a club compared to obviously £200 with obviously the 0211. So I want to see, can we see the difference? Is there the difference and the feeling in that aspect as well? And that's what it looks like. Here we go. Ford Gen 2 head. This looks very similar. I can, to be perfectly honest, standing over this, couldn't tell you the difference between the two different irons.
Bit flat. That one. An interesting thing, right?
Yeah.
In Gen 2, for that fat one, you've only lost 6 yards. For a player that hits it as far as you do, that's a small percentage.
Yeah. What's more forgiving then? This or that one? What would it say? Like on
paper,
yeah.
Because of the perimeter weighting,
yeah,
you would say that.
Okay.
Without getting crazy technical, it totally depends down as well to whether someone is delivering it kind of steep or neutral or whatever.
So for your average golfer, you probably won't be able to tell the difference between the forgiveness of this and another player. No?
Between 0211
yeah,
and that P head,
yeah,
in terms of forgiveness, I reckon you'd notice minimal. What you'd say is, I would say on that particular head there, on the off-centre hits, it's going to be that little bit hotter off the face.
Got you.
But in terms of moment of inertia, side by side, very similar.
And obviously, you love your specs and numbers. So not having this in the back, for you as a club fitter, is that a disadvantage when you're fitting people? If they go, I just want 0211.
It just takes a piece away from the puzzle. I mean, it basically means the reason Gen 2 is such a great product in 0311, because it is the all singing, all dancing. You can do everything. No stone left unturned. But it also means you can do everything that other people can't. Yeah. So it's one of those that you're just taking away one aspect. So that perimeter weighting, in theory, on 0211 you have to see is basically more of an internal characteristic rather than external. Yeah. That does make the builders' lives really not simple, but it makes it easier for those guys to then build a club. If I say, listen here, it's going to be half an inch over length, whatever, or under length, it means you can basically redial the head weight in like that. That's where it makes life easy. Yeah. So it also makes building to very tight tolerances easy. Yeah. So that's where Gen 2 shines. Yeah. Good. I mean, again, I feel like, potentially you are getting, and this is probably me more than anything, I've probably hit that worse than the cast, but I've got away with it more. Yeah. Just from my personal opinion. I mean, if I was a robot and you could stand here just with the numbers and have exactly the same swing over and over again, then I think it'd be a lot more clear cut. But this feels more forgiving. But that might be my personal opinion. Of anything else. Your ball strike's got towing. Yes. That's all that's happened. It's because you fitted me wrong. That's the problem. I was swinging it lovely before. Exactly. I put the same shaft in, it changed. Interestingly, your view, obviously you get to fit a variable of different golfers ranging from different skill levels. So how in-depth and how not in-depth are you going for, say, because I imagine you fit for 18, 20 handicappers as well. I might go more in-depth for the 20 handicapper. Yeah, so they know. Then if, say for example, I had Wyndham Clark rock up. Yeah. And then I had Mary rock up, who plays off 22, or John, or whatever. Of course. I may end up having to go more in depth because they have a bigger tendency to do something I don't want them to do. Yeah, of course. Do you know? I mean, I'd say every fit is probably the same regardless, in terms of like how detailed you go. At the end of the day, you probably look at every detail the same amount.
Yeah.
With some players you have to change less detail. With some players you have to change more. So if I've got 8 guys a day, every single one of those fits is going to vary how much you change. So it's a really hard one. But I would probably say...
And have you fitted beginner golfers?
I have fitted someone who's...
Never touched a golf club
A lady whose first experience of golf was standing with me.
Wow.
Yep.
How was that?
Well, she arrived with her translator as well.
Oh, wow.
Which also made life... But
But
yeah...
that's, I mean, at the end of the day, if the customer wants it, the customer
that's
wants
true.
it at the end of the day.
That there came down to what is going to help that golfer progress into golf as quick as possible.
Of course, yeah.
That was her target, and we agreed on that prior.
Yeah.
Of listen here, this is what's going to get you into golf as quick as possible.
Not be good for you today, but potentially as well in the future.
Enjoy it. Exactly that. You've got to find out what everyone's requirements are. If you came to me, you'd have different requirements to my previous chap.
Of course. I don't know, you look like you could hit it. Oh, Matthew, I'm a ball striker.
Oh, sign him up for Gen 2.
Sign him up.
Our own TaylorMades.
Yeah.
0211.
Yeah.
And then fitted Gen 2 P irons.
Cool.
Just to show the difference. So 0211 is up on the screen here. The main data we're actually really going to want to see is, I'll throw it up in here so it makes life easy. So ball speed is 132 with your own club. Carry 173.
Yeah.
Spins a lot. But the main, let's really dial into what kind of ball speed are we getting? What's the carry? Now all of a sudden your ball speed has gone up to 139.
Yeah.
Carry up to 186.
Yeah.
And then same again, we managed to get spin under control just for a good fitting process. That's 0211. Now if I tell a lie, apologies. Now if we go into the
6.5, yeah.
Correct, in the P head. Ball speed now jumps up that last little bit, so all of a sudden the spin's even more under control.
Yeah.
Ball speed jumps up to 140.
Yeah.
Carry 190.6 on average. So you can basically see this is where we are. This is what 0211 does, which is a great improvement. But if you want to go the full shooting match, what can we dial in for you and get everything out of it? That's what the P head does. So it kind of shows that everything
it depends what you want out of the club.
Exactly. It's like how much do we need to dive into it?
Let's round this up. 0211 cast iron head. Straight out of the bat, from the numbers, obviously it's inferior to the 0311, but £200 cheaper. Yes, I said it felt better, but that's my own personal preference. And to be perfectly honest, when people go, oh, it feels good, everything feels good nowadays. Let's be honest, like TaylorMade, Ping, Callaway, Mizuno, everything feels good. And that's purely down to the person, what they like the sound of, and everything else. I felt the 0311 more forgiving than the 0211. But again, I wouldn't have been able to tell you that difference unless I put them next to each other. If you got fitted for 0211 irons with Matthew or any other PXG fitter, I'd imagine, they're going to be a good set of irons for you. They've got more choice than most manufacturers. The things that they can do in the fitting process is more than most manufacturers. And also you've got a guy that's extremely knowledgeable about the equipment, which is very important. As sometimes you could go to some out stores or golf stores, I should say, and you might not have the most experienced person telling you what club and what club you shouldn't have. That being said, you are obviously paying for it. Now, obviously, the PXG demo days are free, from my understanding, from everyone that I've obviously been involved in. So if there's one near you, I strongly urge you to go and try and see what a superior fitting process is like. Now, are these irons going to make you the world's best golfer? No. Obviously, if you were to spend $4,000 on lessons, you're going to be a lot better golfer than buying $4,000 worth of golf clubs. That being said, the 0311, at the end of the day, in my eyes, are the best irons out there purely because they're going to be fitted and suited to you. How long that lasts depends on what you're doing with your swing, how old you're getting, if you're going to get injured, all that kind of stuff. 0211 feels as good as anything out in the market. The technology-wise, I wouldn't say is any better than anything else out there, but at the same time, it's not anywhere near worse, and you're going to get the experience that I had today with Matthew. And even though it's going to be £200 a stick, which is a lot of money, there's a lot of brands out there, especially like Titleist, Callaway, TaylorMade. They're going down the route where if you're going to get fitted for a club that's 160, 70, 80 pounds, then I would still veer to have a look at PXG. That being said, I have built my channel on secondhand clubs, and you know my viewpoints. At the end of the day, when it comes down to equipment, it's the person that kind of uses it and hits it. Matt could have put me in anything, and I'm still going to be hitting decent balls just because I've practiced and I've done this as a career for quite a while. So guys, there's my thoughts on PXG and the 0211 head, as well as the whole fitting experience. Again, massive thank you to Matthew. He was incredibly helpful and answered a lot of questions. And thank you to Bob for subscribing, watching, liking the videos.
Hey guys, there is my honest opinion on the PXG 0211, PXG in general, and obviously the fitting process that goes to it. I have to thank Matt for spending some time with me, because he's a very busy man, and hopefully it's educated you guys not only in terms of PXG but just in the fitting process and my thoughts in terms of the money that you can spend in golf and potentially what you get out of it if you do spend that money as well. Guys, thank you ever so much for watching. As always, leave this video a like, please subscribe. Catch you guys later.